We're doing like eye tracking as well. Yeah, so this one did like a year ago, and yeah, we're testing it since. So it will be doing, yeah, finding your face, finding your eyes, somehow working better for your left eye than right eye. We'll probably have to adjust the threshold for, yeah, and then it does pupil detection. The pupil detection is a bit fake because it's just looking for the darkest spot within the eye square. So for example, if your eye square is too large, it might get a false, yeah, here is, for example, doing a false detection of the eyelid, of the, yeah, now in theory, when you close your eyes, it should tell you that there's no eye there. But yeah, it's essentially a false, like a false positive. Where is it? Yeah, it should detect a no eye. Yeah, and it's faking. Yeah, so we're building. So now we're building another one. So this one is quick. It will work on your phone as well. If you make it more complicated and it does more testing, then it kind of, becomes heavier. So that's something we test. So we'll have like 2 versions that way. See which one performs better or worse. Yeah. But yeah, so this is all like language models. So essentially the quality of it will heavily depend on how good the current language models are. Yeah, this is local. No, so this is local as well. So you can see network is not sending anything. Well, this is just, what is this? Yeah, so when it's actually running, it's not sending any data. So it's not sending your face or anything. I don't know what the logs are. Yeah, no, so it's running locally in your browser. So this one is like nice and quick, but yeah, it's not doing like, so the pupil. So for example, yeah, we have some ideas about new tools. So there's a lot of, so for example, mental effort estimate. So that's kind of how I work. I generate so this ideas pages on the page as well, and you see like mental effort, facial asymmetry, stroke screening, hand tremor, stability analyzer, temperature and fever indicator. So the stress and anxiety estimate. So the last one is similar to the first one, but the last one takes your many different metrics, so it's much a higher complexity. The first one is essentially just taking your pupil dilation. But say with a tool like this one, I cannot do pupil dilation very accurately. Well, because it's barely doing the pupil detection. So if I'm doing like a more complicated tool, then by the way, the most obvious thing for this ECG, the heart rate monitoring, is doing meditation. Well, in addition to finding deep fakes, but I'm not really interested in kind of let someone else sort that out. Because I mean, there is a lot more to deep fakes. And again, what if it it's like one of those antivirus thing. Once it becomes a thing, then the companies that generate deep fakes, they will just add the heart rate. They will just add the color variation into it, so you can't detect it anymore. So it's kind of hopeless that way. But I was actually using it for meditation, because you have sonification of this waveform, and then you can like listen to it and try to reduce your heart rate as so it's called neurofeedback thing. But as opposed to making it like a product and charging people money for it, I'm just essentially showing people how you build one yourself and how it works. Yeah, I'm kind of talking about like in general, like just so I guess for me it's more like educational, in a sense that instead of showing people magic, whatever, you just actually show them how it works, how would the tool like that be developed, and how important are the parameters for making like a like a basic filter, whatever, how you remove background from your video footage and things like that. So just essentially, so more, I see it more as a like education platform than anything else. Like, for example, you're doing like a blur filter. So I made like one version and it was too heavy on my system. So then you ask a language model to explain, how do blur filters work, how to make one better, and it did. And then I'm making this monitoring for like processing time, average, and FPS used. So say currently the processing time is like 20 milliseconds, and if I use the previous version of the blur, it takes like 100 or more than 100 milliseconds. And then I can hear my system, my GPU is going and stuff. So so once you get into the nitty gritty of it, you realize that you either have like higher accuracy, but then, heavier, more costly, more energy intense tool, or you can have like, more approximation and cheaper, quicker, and more accessible. And essentially trying to gear towards people like having their own models and developing their own tools. So essentially, you want your camera to follow you, whatever, you just make it. You should not like because if you're relying on the zoom algorithm too much and then zoom change something, well, yeah. Yeah, because these filters are interesting because they used a lot in like medical data processing and stuff. So you think, it's kind of like a toy, whatever. Well, yes, it is a toy. First of all, it's good to, because if I have a development guide for a language model, then I can like benchmark it. So I just give this tool to a new language model, ask it to, create a better version of it. And it does, and then I can test it side by side. So I'm not relying on, other companies benchmarking. So I don't know where is it going. I think it's it's like one of those, because the LLM companies, the AI companies, they essentially don't have a product, because if OpenAI have something like working, they need people actually using it. Well, because they don't have like the use case for it, and I'm creating like the use case for it. So eventually, if OpenAI or Gemini like moving into the space, either turning papers into interactive visualizations and stuff, well then, they just can buy me out. Well, currently it's not for sale, but everyone has a price, so yeah, so I want to like, build it up, and when it's ready, I mean, currently I'm evaluating it, whatever PhD engineer, whatever salary multiplied by 3 years. That's how much it's worth to me, but just waiting for the right buyer. So I'm kind of looking for a CEO who will, make it a bit faster, but they will be working off commission. If it's a salesperson. My thing is open source. So literally, if you go on the website, like all the tools are literally on the page. I used to, in the past when I started, I used to do Flask applications. But then I realized, most things don't actually require a backend, or at least my things, I'm actually trying to simplify it. So, if you have a backend, you tend to overcomplicate things. If you don't have a backend, you tend to make them simpler. So now I'm just trying to make them simpler. So there's no backend, so that means all the code is just single HTML file on the on the website, whatever. So that's where, yeah, but I don't know why people are struggling with, treating that as, open source, whatever. I mean, it is, the source is there. It's also somewhere on the website it mentions that it's whatever Creative Commons license, blah, blah. But yeah, everyone keeps asking for GitHub, but I'm just not sure. Yeah, if it was just easier. I mean, it's obviously geared towards like programmers and stuff. Yeah, if I was doing the source control with Git, that makes sense to use it. But I don't, again, because it's like overly complicated. Not that I don't want to do proper source control, but it's just too complicated for whatever reason. Yeah, so same if you go on the website, I think maybe people assuming that, websites are being like that are monitoring their usage and stuff and how they interacted with it. I probably could, but I would rather have it as like a print, as a video monitoring, of the screen. So for example, if you went on the page, on the website, ideally for providing feedback, you just record a video of your screen and your mouse, whatever, using the website. I know I can get it somehow from the analytics, whatever, but it's not, I don't think it's as good. Yes, it will tell you like which button was pressed and things like that, but it's not, yeah, so whatever we do making live on this YouTube channel, on Biomedical's channel, is available open source on biomedical.com. Yeah, there is an ideas page. Yeah, essentially we have like some sort of ranking tool title, complexity level, and technical prompt. So essentially from this prompt, we should be able to create the tool. So all you need, instead of open source, instead of the code, you just need the prompts that were used to create the tool. So everyone is asking for the code. Well, the code for most of these tools is on the page. I was saying before, in the past we were doing Flask applications, but we don't do them anymore. Main reason is that when you have a backend, your applications tend to increase in complexity unnecessarily. But if you don't have a backend and it's just JavaScript, they tend to be simpler, and that's what we are trying to achieve. Yeah, so if you checked out the website, have any feedback to provide, we are here for that. Okay, if you actually visited the website and you have any feedback, do let us know. Yes, hopefully next time we will actually be programming, making one of those tools better. If you have any specific feedback and stuff, do let us know. We promise to take it into account. Well, it'll essentially be turned into prompts for the AI developers, agents. So go check out the tools, and I'll see you next time. All the tools we develop live are freely available on biomedical.com. If you already visited the site, do provide your feedback, comment in one of the videos and stuff, or even better, record your screen while using the website. That will be great help, because you're essentially a co-developer for this. And I'll see you next time. Bye.